Alright, what's up guys, it's Mattsboosted, and if you're watching this video, you've probably got a Corvette C6 and maybe you've already got some boost, or you're thinking about adding a supercharger turbo, twin turbo, and you're thinking, if I add some boost, how much can I add until it blows up? Well, you're in the right place, man. I've got a twin turbo Corvette. It makes over 4 digits at the wheel with the LS2. Let's talk about it. The LS2 or LS3 with some boost, man, it is a match made in heaven. Here's the thing about the Corvette C6. The LS2, LS3s, they both do really well with boost. If you get the LS9, of course, in the Z01, you've already got a supercharger. Now, the Corvette Z06, the C6, it's got an LS7. The LS7's really strong, a really nice NA motor, and NA, that bad boy can make some really good power, but it's not the best application for boost, to be honest. If you go with the Corvette C6 with the LS2, LS3, that's going to be good for boost. There's a couple different options. You can go turbo, you can go twin turbo, you can go supercharger. Hey, you can go nitrous as well. And when you buy the kit for the supercharger turbo, twin turbo kit, I mean, it's pricey, but there's some other components that you've got to run with it, and there's also a horsepower limit on any car. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a Mustang, a Corvette, BMW, whatever, but it has a horsepower limit or a capability. Now, with the Corvette C6 LS2, LS3 stock, it makes like 400, 430 wheel. You do some mods, full bolt-ons, throw some heads, cam, all that, you're probably making like 500 wheel, 480 wheel, maybe 510, give or take, something like that. You're in a really good place there. Now, if you add some boost to that bad boy, say you do the supercharged turbo, twin turbo, and you go with like 6 pounds of boost, that's going to be like the bare minimum kit. With something like that and a Corvette C6, you're going to make around 550 wheel or so, and that's still going to be a really safe place. Now, if you do something like that, you do need to add a little bit more fuel at least, so you're going to need at least a booster pump, but at 550 wheel, you're going to be completely safe. Now, 6 pounds of boost, 550 wheel, you're going to be completely safe. We're going to ramp things up, go 8 to 10 pounds of boost. We're going to be making around 650 wheel right now, and to be honest, we're still going to be in a good place with the C6. With the LS2, LS3, automatic, manual, LS2, it doesn't matter as long as the tune is good. 650 wheel, we're still going to be a good place, but right now you've got to start thinking about adding a little bit better fuel system. So the booster pump is going to be okay if you're going to be around 550 wheel, but if you're going above 600 wheel, I'd recommend just upgrading the fuel system across the board, and you're going to need to do some injectors either way, so I'd go ahead and get like some 1300 maybe. I'd probably do like some 1000cc injectors if you're going to make like 700 wheel. Like I said, if you're going to go to 8 to 10 pounds of boost, we need to add a little bit more fuel. Now we got to think about the transmission a little bit. If you got a stick shift, you're going to be looking at a clutch, maybe like a Munster triple disc or something. The Munster triple disc, those are super solid. And then for an automatic, you can get a torque converter like a 3600 stall by like Circle D. That'll be pretty good for that type of application. And obviously it depends what you're going to be doing with the car. If you're going to be roll racing, if you're going to be running from a dig, that can vary a little bit, but just as a baseline. Now, boost wise, 8 to 10 pounds, 650 wheel, we're going to be okay. As long as the tune's on point, no problem at all. And to be honest and to be transparent, I've seen LS3s on the dyno make 1000 wheel on the stock bottom end stock transmission, but how long, I don't know. Now, if we start pushing past that 10 pounds of boost limit, we start getting to 12, 14 pound range, we're going to have to start thinking about the transmission. We're going to have to think about the bottom end a little bit. The Corvette C6, it's really solid. If you get a Grand Sport, if you get the LS3, the LS3 is really good. And you get to get the LS3 in the base model as well, in the 2009 and up. But they can take 1000 horsepower wheel, but for how long is the biggest question. I think really the safe spot with the Corvette C6 is probably around 650 wheel. But if you go around 800 wheel in the Corvette C6 with the stock bottom end, stock transmission, you're going to be looking around 14 pounds of boost, maybe 16 pounds of boost, somewhere in that range, give or take, depending on your setup. And when you're in that range, you really need to start thinking about doing a nice forged bottom end. And when you do a forged bottom end, you can keep the stock crankshaft if you want to, but if you're going to be in there, you probably want to go ahead and switch it out anyways. But if you're just trying to save a couple bucks when you're in there, I get it. You can use the stock crank still. For the transmission, if you've got T56, they are strong. I've got a T56 in my Corvette. It's 1106 horsepower at the wheel. I know it to the number, but it's strong. But once again, it's not built for that power, so it could go at any second. The reliability isn't there. The TR6060 is a much beefier, stronger transmission, and if you get an LS3 Corvette, you get that TR6060, and it's just going to be a better platform to set you up to make more power down the road and in the present, to be honest. If it was up to me and I was planning on making over 600-700 wheel, I would probably just go ahead and get the Grand Sport. So you got the TR6060, so you got the LS3, we got the little bit better flowing heads, a little bit better intake. But if you want to get crazy and do it like me and get an LS2, you can build it, forge the engine, put a big fuel system in it, some twin turbos, and you can do it like that as well. At the end of the day though, the reliability on the Corvette C6 is going to start getting a little sketchy after 650 wheel. It'll probably be fine at 750 wheel. It'll probably be fine at 800 wheel. But when you start getting around those numbers with the stock bottom end, and the stock diff too, the stock diff, I forgot to even mention that because I roll race, so I don't think about the diff near as much as I should, or a lot of guys. But the stock differential in the Corvette C6, especially if it's a 2005, it is very glassy, it's very weak. But in the 2006 and up, it's a little better, but it's still definitely not the strongest part. But in all fairness, if there's some part that breaks, you want it to be the cheapest part, maybe an axle, but the rear diff, they are pretty weak. If you're actually planning on building something 800 plus wheel, I would give RPM Transmissions a call, and I would say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. You know, maybe you can set me up with a transmission package, maybe nice, like a built 001 diff, and you know, a better transmission. Of course, to go ahead and do the clutch, maybe do the torque tube in there, and maybe go ahead and set you up with some axles as well. Either way, the Corvette C6, it can take the boost just fine. The reliability is just fine. You're not going to tear the motor up as long as it's tuned, especially if you're in the 650 wheel mark or so. Once you get above 800 wheel, you're going to start pushing the stock bottom end a little bit. Will it survive? Probably, but the reliability does go down slightly. Either way, man, if you're going to be doing the upgrades, you got to get the fuel system, you got to get the clutch and torque converter. You got to make sure the car is set up right with a good tune. If it's an older Corvette like a 2006 and it's got the older ECM and you want to run E85, you might have to go with the Holly, and that's what I did. But it can absolutely be done, and Corvette C6 is one of the easiest platforms to do it in my opinion. It already makes good power. When you put some boost to it on that light platform, it's just an absolute monster. Appreciate you guys watching, man. If you're a fan of twin turbo Corvettes, Corvette C6s, fast cars in general, please like and subscribe. Help me grow. I really appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys on the next one.